Good morning slash afternoon. Once again, Truth Disclosure 369 in the house. Like to greet everybody in the universe of greetings of peace. It's going to be short and sweet. I just want to share a couple of things. Starting off with let me go to it real quick. Hopefully everybody is doing well, and despite all of the confusion and the chaos that's in the world, that everybody is maintaining their focus on positive solutions, positive intentions, which can help lead this planet and to the divine principles and laws which used to govern it. So I just wanted to get on here and take a look at, we know we live in a twilight zone when you got motherfuckers talking about they're going to help out circumstances by throwing fuel on the fire. If you can't beat them, join them. Type of mentality when it comes to this shit like this. But this is something that's been in the news for the past couple of days, despite whatever political preference person represents. This is the shit that is talked about among them ranks. You got enough energy and you got enough time to talk about shit like this, allowing crack pipes to be used as a means to help those who can't cope with that problem. So you give them smoking kits. Now, this is like some Simpson shit or some South Park shit. You wouldn't think this would be in reality, but when you live in a world where you see this person right here is a liar, she's on there lying every day. So, when the title of the article is White House Disputes Reports of Federal Funds for Crack Pipes. So everything that's been coming out of the White House has been lies over the last several years. So it's like, how can you even believe that shit? How can you even accept anything they saying for, this is what we're doing? No, I don't believe that shit. And first of all, this is like a huge waste of goddamn resources and energy even talking about this shit. And the reason why this is getting room like this, because we know that Biden's son is a crackhead. Everybody wants to throw Hunter Biden up there in the conversation, but he's a crackhead and he's been doing shady shit. But the crazy thing about it, he's related to somebody who has influence, who is in a powerful position over a country. That includes standings in the international world. And you want to act like you're better, bigger, better, and than everybody else, knowing you got a crackhead in your family. It's sad to know that he has a crackhead in his family, but yet the laws that were created to kind of shut down people who have difficulties dealing with drug abuse problems, whatever. The laws that were created and shaped weren't really for people to find hope or get help or whatever, just lock their ass up, throw away the key and keep it moving. But it's crazy how his relative, his son escaped a lot of that shit, but yeah, he's a functioning crackhead to a point where you have them talking about shit like this. And you can't get no rational shit spoken about or brought up and even entertained, but you'll get shit like this to talk about. So here it is. Psaki said the safe smoking kits being distributed as part of a 30 million harm reduction program might include materials such as alcohol swabs, lip balm, clean syringes, and other materials intended to promote hygiene and reduce the risk of spreading diseases such as HIV and hepatitis. Like, y'all really give a fuck about that? Y'all really give a fuck about not spreading hepatitis and HIV when you had a man, one of these so-called health experts in the form of lying-ass murdering Fauci, who's had his hands in the whole AIDS and HIV thing. I mean, like I said, you still don't have no vaccines for that. Not that the masses of the population know about. Maybe Magic Johnson may know about it if he really had the shit. But they showing him on pictures with no mask on with the mayor of LA talking about he didn't breathe. So get the fuck out of here, man. But this is the dumb shit that motherfuckers is talking about. And it was to a point where the GOP was whining about, yeah, it ain't right y'all doing that shit. Like they give a fuck about people that have drug problems either. But this is just ridiculous. I've never seen any administration, even no matter how foul and how much lies and confusion they cause, never heard any administration said they will help people keep smoking crack pipes, to help them. Never. This is a first. And then to say that they won't use federal funds, meaning once you say federal, that means tax money that come out of your taxes. And if you believe that shit, that they ain't gonna be using that money for shit like this, while they distracting everybody, then you got serious issues to believe that shit. Because anything come out that broad mouth, and damn near any other fucking press secretary that has the last fucking 8 years have all been liars, have all been pushing some type of fucking political rhetoric from out of whatever administration. And so if you believe this shit, then hey, more power to you, man. Still love. But this right here, get the fuck out of here. This is the shit that I'd rather talk about. Not about what has transpired over the last couple of years, what's really been going on, freedoms that have been encroached upon, but we're gonna talk about giving crack pipes. So get the fuck out of here. So I'm gonna get away from that and I'm gonna go to this other one because we're still in the middle of this shit with the truckers. Much love, much respect for what they're doing, and it looks like their actions are causing some things to happen. People don't want to be sitting around dealing with shit when they're telling us, everybody, that no matter what we do, it's still, it's either or. I mean, it's neither helpful. It's neither helpful nor is it harmful. I mean, that's what they're saying. I mean, it may be harmful, maybe this, maybe that, but they got everybody in such a lurch to a point where people do not think that a lot of this shit needs to continue to carry on, which it doesn't. Everybody knows that motherfuckers have been lying. Everybody knows that motherfuckers have been confusing people. Everybody knows that a lot of these rules didn't make sense from the beginning. Everybody knows, according to this whack science that these motherfuckers keep claiming with their poster child murdering Fauci, everybody know that a lot of the shit they've been saying hasn't been adding up. So it's almost like, why would you enforce shit if there is no proper, way out the way that people will want to, it's almost like everybody's still at risk. So if doing all this shit is not really helping the problem, why the fuck implement the shit? Why the fuck enforce it? Why the fuck mandate that shit to a point where you telling motherfuckers, oh, you got to do this and do that? So I think that is coming to the awareness of everybody now. And, we got the truckers out there that's standing up in Canada, and it seems like it's spreading globally where they're doing it in other parts of the world. Of course, mainstream media only will show a little bit if they show it. The only reason why they're showing it in Canada now, it like I said, because like I said yesterday, is because of the fact that now the border here is being impacted by it. If it wasn't for that, these motherfuckers would still not be saying shit. So now you got this going on. I'm gonna share this one. Under pressure to ease up, Biden weighs new virus response. You know. So now under pressure from a lot of people, they're starting to roll back some shit. They're starting to reassess the masks in the schools. Oh, wait, I hadn't seen him in a minute. So now he's back on, you know, and it's almost like, man, these liars, this whole platform here, when you see these this whole platform here, fucking liars, man. And you know, the one is that these folks, and I try and put this out here because I don't want people to want to think, everybody wants to go back to some type of normalcy or go back to some type of situation where you're not in fear, you're not worried about this, that, and the third, and you're not being impacted by a barrage of negative coverage and footage and this, that, and the third that's constantly feeding that fear and all that negativity that goes with that. You have a situation where, you know, they're rolling back shit all over in other parts of the world, and it's almost like, where if they're rolling back shit or they're taking all of their goddamn mandates and protocols out of work, why is it only for certain areas, and in certain areas motherfuckers still trying to let these folks know that get rid of that shit? Everybody know you motherfuckers have lied about this shit any goddamn way, man. Get rid of it. It ain't helping, it ain't helped none, so what the fuck? But it almost like, and I hope that this isn't the case, but these folks are trying to, they're rolling back shit, but it's almost like if you give them the opportunity to keep using distractions, they will act like none of this shit happened over the past 3 years. Like everybody that lost their life due to this whole thing, surrounding this whole fucking thing is, you know, business as usual. Let's move on. Let's go to the next problem or the next shit that we even stirred up and caused. And it's like, I hope people don't allow that shit to happen, man. We're looking at a person that still lied in front of Congress numerous occasions, that lied about the back ends of a lot of this shit and the funding and the origins of this shit. But yet, you know, how can you move forward and move on? Man, like, motherfuckers gotta pay. Heads gotta fucking roll, no matter how much these folks sit up here and try and move shit forward and all that. And I hope people realize, I sit up and I say what I say because I know with losing people and seeing people go through the struggle and the strife and all that shit, it's like, man, ain't no fucking way. I don't give a fuck if they take mandates down, they take this down and that down. Shit still need to be put out there that these motherfuckers need to be held accountable for a lot of the shit they caused. You know, they made enough money off of this shit, but damn, goddamn, it's time for some heads to roll when you talking about people's lives been turned upside down around this whole fucking thing, full of liars, full of hypocrites, full of distorters. I mean, this doesn't make any sense at all, man. So let's see what they're talking about.
For the last several weeks, we've been working closely with Secretary Becerra, our team of doctors, and the White House COVID response team under the president's leadership is reaching out to governors and outside public health experts and doctors and local public health officials on steps we should be taking to keep the country moving forward. We know that in different areas of the country, cases have fallen more significantly, and this will lead to different approaches and different timing. And we will continue to coordinate closely with state and local leaders.
We've always said that these decisions are going to have to be made at the local level, and that policies at the local level will look at local cases. They'll look at how local hospitals are doing. They'll look at local vaccination rates. And they, as I understand it, in many of these decisions are using a phased approach. Not all of these decisions are being made to stop things tomorrow, but they're looking at a phased approach. And so what I would say is, again, they have to be done at the local level, but I'm really encouraged that cases are continuing to drop dramatically. Hospitalizations are continuing to drop dramatically as people are making these decisions and as we are working on our guidance. So I'm encouraged to see those trends. Yes, we are prepared. We are working on that guidance. We are working on, following the trends for the moment. What I will say though is, our hospitalizations are still high. Our death rates are still high. So as we work towards that and as we are encouraged by the current trends, we are not.
I had to cut that off. I get sick of hearing that shit. When they always go to our hospital rates are still high, our death rates are still high. And then when you know the reality that some people are going to these hospitals with totally different afflictions and somehow mysteriously, tired, all of a sudden they have COVID and they're not, and then they end up passing away. So a lot of that shit these liars talk about. So now they're trying to talk about phasing shit down, man. But like I said, man, I hope people don't sit up and forget about people who participated. I don't give a fuck what status in life, what political party, but I hope people don't forget the people who faces and names who've been a part of this shit and the questions that still haven't been answered. And the shit that has not fully been acknowledged, which knowing damn well it needs to be acknowledged because, I mean, damn. Hold on 1 minute, my bad. Knowing damn well it needs to be acknowledged because of the simple fact that this is some serious shit that has had some consequential problems with it, period. I'm gonna share this video it's from one of the Canadian
she takes a picture, and in that picture is this.
See how this go.
He puts the camera. One person is responsible.
So let me get back to the screen so I can share. Okay, let's share this real quick. Just want to share. This is one of the Canadian equivalent to Congress person here.
For this mess, and that's the Prime Minister. One person is responsible for this mess, and that's the Prime Minister. He caused this mess by attacking Canadian citizens and taking away their freedoms. The rest of the world is moving on. Other countries all around the world are lifting restrictions. Provinces across the country are exactly the same. We've got this hold up. The Prime Minister is hunkering down and out of spite and personal pride, refusing to lift these unjustified and unscientific restrictions. If he would only do so, then the truckers could get back to work and the other protesters could go back to their lives and everything in Canada would get back up on its feet and we could get back to working on giving people control of their lives.
Now, only if some of the politicians here, we already know which party is responsible for that shit. So it's almost like only if we had people who stood up and called out shit like that, like it's need to be called out here. Without all the fake and the funk and all this other nonsense, call it out for really what it is.
Thank you for everyone for joining.
Hold on 1 minute. Let me get this because it's something else I want to go to. But damn, just imagine if you had people in Congress that spoke so eloquently out against the bullshit that's been going on here. You know, so yeah, I don't know, man. This stuff here, like I said, it's getting more interesting as stuff continue to go a certain way. And hold on, let me share this one. With everything that's been started off with the truckers, you know, that now they're trying to say that something's gonna be starting at the Super Bowl. You know, nobody really knows. But with these liars, ain't no telling what they'll probably do or set up or stage or whatever, just to shut down the fact that human beings are realizing they have been had by their own governing officials over the last couple of years with this mysterious stuff that has been happening, and the transfer of wealth, the tragedy of so many people losing their life, and people politicizing a lot of this shit to a point where, you know, so now we at a point where there's no return because a lot of people seeing this shit. So we're gonna call this shit out. We don't give a fuck who's standing in the way, whatever. This shit need to be heard. And if it means shutting down the fucking economy, so be it. Because they didn't have no problem with shutting shit down under the pretenses of lies and everything else. So here it is. You still got the truckers doing their thing, and you know, you still got issues with the police being used as to take people's gas and this, that, and the third, and all type of shit. Just fucking martial law type shit, Gestapo type shit. And for some reason, motherfuckers don't understand that. You know, that this shit right here is what led to a lot of shit in the past, to fucked up times, to fucked up times of austerity and times of immense struggle and this, that, and the third, especially when authoritarianism and tyranny were the driving forces of a lot of decisions. So yeah, you got this stuff happening, and it's affecting car companies now. They're crying about this is happening and that is happening. So I guess a couple places got shut down. They scaling back work. I mean, but you got cars out here being sold 3 times as much as they would normally be. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people, they in unions and stuff, they'll be straight. But this shit here has to be fucking remedied, man. You can't have segments of society who definitely ain't feeling a lot of this shit because of the lies and all that stuff. And you think this shit gonna move forward in any type of manner without a lot of this stuff being addressed, including Fauci, including the lies that this Congress in this country, those that have been hiding behind shit and keeping certain stuff, this shit gotta be addressed here. It don't matter who the fuck the Democratic Party, the liberals, conservatives, the Republican Party, whoever has been responsible for looking away at the shit that has been transpiring and using political undertones to achieve an agenda or whatever, especially with the shit that a motherfucker's been doing. Now you're seeing all these motherfuckers over here that been telling people to do shit and they doing otherwise. Pictures of people with masks, everybody around them got masks on, and because of them or their status or whoever, black, white, or whoever, they sitting there with no mask on. Makes no sense. So people over here have to call this shit out. You cannot forget what the fuck we done been through, all the people that have been lost to this mysterious shit that has been going on. We cannot stand down, man. Motherfucker gotta step up calling these folks out, man, because the overall accountability have to come with why this shit was started in the first place, who caused it, with this, that, and the third. And like I said, if you can't even, and every time I get on here, I'm gonna say this shit. If you can't get on here and you say anything about Fauci and why the fuck this man ain't been brought up on charges for lying in front of Congress, then there's no other way to look at this shit as being something that was anti-human and crimes against humanity, period. And people are slowly aiding and abetting those have been aiding and abetting these activities for the past couple years, while lying to everybody, while keeping the fear of God in everybody to a point they can't even go out their damn house. And while they in their own house, nobody else in the house by themselves, they in their house with a mask on. What kind of sense does that shit make? And it's fucked up that people had to be put through shit like that. But this is the stuff, man. So truckers protest, GM to scale back work at auto plants. And I think Ford also are doing some things. So now it's getting serious. So now what? You know, they ain't gonna be able to make the cars, so you can buy these cars 30 times higher than you used to, so they can try to re-up and make up for the money they lost over the 2020 and 2021. I mean, come on, man. People got to continue to stay on the ball when it comes to the accountability that needs to be heard. So yeah, this is what's going on. They're still doing their thing. They're still using propaganda to malign a lot of them Canadians stepping up as well in other countries. But the majority of the masses know who's lying, who's the bullshitters, and we in this country got to really step up, man. Because look, man, people lost people. People got to understand that, you know, it just not when you know motherfuckers have been having some type of agenda and shit that's on the line, and you see it transpiring in front of you, and you really can't put your finger exactly on it, but it's damn near there, right along with millions of other people across the planet who can't put their finger directly on it, but they know that, no, this, hell no. I mean, this is actually the most important time and historical time in history. And I hope people are looking at this shit in light as it, you know, some people may look at it as being something light. I hope not. All this shit a motherfucker been dealing with, you know, the divisions that have been stirred up, the hatred, the greed, you know, to a point where motherfuckers are trying to get paid off of shit that's dealing with something serious like a pandemic. Motherfuckers overcharging you for testing, this and that and the third. This is the society these folks have created and wanted people to be a part of and continue to maintain it by not calling out the bullshit that need to be called out. And I hope people remember everything, every face that was, every person who said some shit, don't matter if they were media, in politics, the president, the prime minister, whoever the fuck it may be, a Joe on the street. Remember these folks. Remember this shit, man. Remember how this stuff challenged everybody's freedoms when it comes to tyranny. And remember how a lot of this shit was being used to play people off on one another. Remember it. Remember how motherfuckers have been given a pass when others weren't. When it comes to being truthful in front of Congress, especially when dealing with something as immense as this. Remember that shit. Remember those who set up and act like they would rather rub shoulders and scratch where it don't itch and laugh at shit that ain't funny just to appease motherfuckers because of whatever political grouping a person is in. Oh, I got to do this because the rest of the Democratic Party they ain't saying nothing, so I'm gonna ride with it. Hell, fuck no, man. Remember this shit. And it goes for everybody, no matter what color it is, man. There's so many black folks right now that I don't understand why. I come from the black community. I don't understand why you would be sitting up listening to motherfuckers that blatantly sitting up here. We always come up in a situation where, you know, You already taught not to believe a lot of shit coming from the white man, but you know, that shit is old and done. These folks are lying to everybody. White, black, don't fucking matter. And the sad thing about it, I'm from the black community. I do not trust any of these black leaders. As far as I can throw their ass. I don't give a fuck about what the fuck they saying or what goals they trying to reach when it comes to justice or equality and all that. None of that shit matter. None of that shit registers anymore from none of them motherfuckers. Because if they can't speak on shit like that, then you're not really in the spirit of that shit anyway. You still walking by an agenda. So with that, I just wanted to share that and get off of here. Wasn't gonna be on here that long. Just know that still stuff brewing, still stuff transpiring, and whatever I can share, you know, I would do it just to try and help bring awareness to the reality of where we are at in history. This is a very important time. So with that, I wish everybody a pleasant rest of the day, rest of the week. If I don't get back on here, hopefully everyone will continue to stay safe, continue to remain positive the best you can, raise them vibrations, put out good energy will come back. Got to realize that the more negative energy a person put out, the more negative energy circles right back around as like a revolving door. You know, it's time out, time to say fuck it. Start listening to your inner being, your inner self. Have them intuitive thoughts and follow that. Especially when it comes to this, because when you talking about this shit, this is historical stuff all across the planet. And you always want to be in a situation where you're more on the positive side than you are on the negative side, especially with what's going down. And the more these folks do shit, the more they pulling the wool off of people's eyes and the wool from over people's heads and with the shit they're doing. Because they're doing stuff, they're going too far. They're going too extreme with certain stuff. And it's like the more they do shit and the more people fight back or let it be heard, and the more they do shit to try to counter that, the more people are seeing, well, hold on. That ain't how a fucking government, these motherfuckers supposed to be operating. And so they're really beginning to show themselves that what they have been showing themselves for who they are. And hopefully this began to register more and more across the planet. So with that, I greet you in the greeting words of peace and the universal greetings of peace as I came.